What do you do when you go on vacation? Do you relax on a beach, tour museums, or get lost in the culture of a new city? I do all that, but when my better half inevitably needs a break and heads back to the hotel, I go record shopping. I plot a route, jump on a bike or in an Uber, or just speed walk the town, and I try to hit as many record stores as I can before closing time. Over the years, it's become a kind of adrenaline-fueled treasure hunt. Well, today, I'm going to take you through my latest record adventures across Northern Europe this summer. Let's go shopping. Independent record stores are like the last standing houses for music culture. Physical sanctuaries in an increasingly digital world. They're like community centers for misfits and music heads. The kind of place where you don't just find records, you find your people. And the best ones are part museum, part clubhouse, part rebel outpost. Even now, especially now, they continue to shape music scenes, preserve lost sounds, and nurture the next ones. Within their walls, discovery is still analog. Stories pass from crate to counter. Sounds travel not through wires, but from one set of ears to another. Staff picks still matter. So do overheard conversations. This isn't just nostalgia, this is survival, because culture lives here. Curated, shelved, spun, and shared. And in this video, we're stepping into some of those houses. If you're new here, my channel focuses on post-punk, new wave, and electronic sounds. So if you're anticipating some jazz or metal, you won't find them in this video, although I will be talking about a famous metal store. During my recent holiday, I visited over 35 record stores in 6 cities. For this video, rather than go through every store and turn this into a monotonous vinyl bragathon, I thought I'd try something a little different and specifically highlight the top 15 vinyl records I scored on this trip. And maybe sprinkle in and tease a few more. So, starting with number 15, a record I picked up at Wangsmo Antivariac in Trondheim, Norway. And I almost missed this store. It didn't come up when I was searching, but fortunately my eagle-eyed better half spotted it for me. In addition to an OG press of this The LP, I got The Lords of the New Church. Not super rare or valuable, but I'm glad I finally was able to grab a copy of this forgotten classic, and the Euro cover, not the plain black US one. This 1982 self-titled debut album, The Lords of the New Church, was the post-punk supergroup's first full-length release, featuring members of The Damned, The Fall, The Dead Boys, and the Barracudas. If you're a fan of 80s goth rock and post-punk, and you haven't heard Open Your Eyes and Russian Roulette, be sure to check this one out. Moving on. Number 14 is Depeche Mode. It's called a Heart 7-inch, which I found at Rock and Rolls in Oslo. This was the second of 2 singles the band released as part of their Singles 81-85 Catching Up with Depeche Mode campaign. So while I'll admit it's not a great Depeche song, as a completist who has several versions of the 12-inch, I was stoked to get the 7-inch. And there's the record. What's cool about this one is it's a poster. Number 13, moving over to Edinburgh now, and a really great shop called Vinyl Villains, where I found a bunch of goodies, including Gary Newman, Massive Attack, Teardrop, and this, Ride's second single from Going Blank Again on Creation Records, Twisterella. I've been hunting for this one for what feels like two and a half decades. And with this, I now have all of Ride's original output on Creation on vinyl. Number 12, sticking with the loot bag from Vinyl Villains. Love that artwork. Like I said, it was a bit of a treasure trove, this store. And I was able to find this one, New Gold Dream, 81, 82, 83, 84 by Simple Minds. But the key is the vinyl. This is the gold plus purple marbled vinyl released in 1983. I already have the black disc in the pure gold that was released in Canada, but now I can strike the gold and purple marbled translucent off my want list. Number 11, teleporting back to Rock and Rolls in Oslo. I knew I have a good shot of finding some vinyl from Apoptygma Berserk in Norway. And here we have Kathy Song 12-inch, featuring the classic Victoria mix by V&V Nation. For anyone who is unfamiliar with A-pop, the original version of Kathy Song is one of the best Depeche Mode songs DM didn't write. And this V&V remix is a stone cold dance floor classic. Hard to believe this is 25 years old. Number 10 now, teleporting to Copenhagen, Denmark. What a town. I really enjoyed the delicious food I had there, but I also enjoyed the record stores. And this store called Can, with a logo above the door clearly referencing the seminal German krautrock band, while small, had a terrific selection of rarities. Part clothing boutique, part record shop. The owner was extremely friendly and pointed me to a couple bins he just got in that day. And in there, I found this. The original pressing on Mute Records from Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds of his 7th LP, Henry's Dream. Inner sleeve. Number 9, naturally going to Norway and visiting Oslo, I just had to visit the legendary Neseblad Records. Described as an ode to Oslo's heaviest musical export, even if you're only casually into metal like me, you'll appreciate this part record store, part museum. And what did I come away with from this blackest of metal record stores? Well, in addition to this KLF 7-inch, I found this amazing Depeche Mode stripped 7-inch that I've been hunting for specifically because it's on red vinyl. Take me to a trove of the heaviest music, I'm still gonna find the synthiest of sounds to come home with. Number 8, back to Rock and Rolls, Oslo. From 1991, the Holy Grail of Apoptygma Berserk history, limited to just 500 copies. This is where it all began. Although the sound is harsher and more musically aggressive than on future Apoptygma Berserk releases, you can still hear the subtle signs of what's to come. The best reason to own this vinyl, though, is the fact that it has a hidden message at the end of side B that you won't hear on any subsequent releases. Comment below if you want to know what that is. Just pristine, perfect condition. Hard to believe this is being preserved so impeccably. More from Rock and Rolls in a bit, but number 7, I am really excited to tell you about this little shop, Voxbox Music in Stockbridge, a cute part of Edinburgh. We were there for 3 days, and on the first and second day, it wasn't open when we'd passed by. I'd peeked inside the window and kind of clocked it as the kind of store where I would flip through a couple bins, not find anything, and be done in 5-10 minutes. Well, Boy, was I wrong. I managed to catch it on the final day in Edinburgh, a half hour before close, and this one truly ended up being a real treasure trove. I found this Renegade Soundwave Sound Clash original 1989 LP I'd been hunting for, plus a ton of amazing finds we'll get to in a moment. They even had an absolutely mint copy of Depeche Mode's Songs of Faith and Devotion, the UK 1993 print, which they labeled a time travel copy because of how perfect it was. But I already own the UK press. It was pretty expensive, and I didn't feel comfortable with the stress of having to transport it home in my luggage and keep it pristine. But while flipping through the U section, I noticed that they had several Underworld.com limited drop singles. You can't get these unless you're online when they drop them, and they are strictly limited run and they sell out instantly, and I've always found that they're gone when I get up in the morning. We've got And the Color Red, which appropriately enough is red, but it's also etched. We've got Denver Luna, which is super rare and the most highly sought after of the bunch, particularly because this track just slaps as a latter period Underworld classic on pink vinyl. Couple more. This is 2 Months Off 2021, Dark and Long 2021. But what I really want to show you is this one here. Cowgirl. This is the limited edition 2021 copy. The A-side is Cowgirl Remix ID2 A1804, but the B-side, Res Cowgirl, live at Reading Festival 1996. Whether you're an Underworld fan or not, this is by far the most stunning live recording of electronic music ever. I don't make that point lightly. I've clocked so many kilometers to this, and I guarantee if you want some motivation in your next workout, put this on. I'll link it below, but it's still unreal to this day how good it is, and I'm so glad to have this pressed in an official capacity by the band themselves. Number 6, another discovery at Can Records in Copenhagen. This is the Aphex Twin Classics Remastered 2006. Reissue of the 1995 R&S Records compilation. Just love the inverse saw cover. Extremely rare, more so than the 1995 compilation. I'm an Aphex completist, so I just couldn't leave this version behind. Second LP. Number 5 is Frontline Assemblies, Technical Neural Implant. If you're an FLA fan, you no doubt know this classic featuring Mind Phaser, Final Impact, and others. I believe this was recently reissued, possibly on colored vinyl, but finding the original 1992 of what I consider their best album was an opportunity I just couldn't pass on. It's not in the best of shape sleeve-wise, but I found it at this store called Filter Music in Oslo that specialized primarily in techno and white label 12 inches plus lots of synth and DJ gear. Inner sleeve. The record is mint. Number 4 is The Cure, a Forest 7-inch. Once again, Voxbox Music in Edinburgh comes in clutch with a hard-to-find rarity in excellent condition. I've been waiting to find this 7-inch of their 1980 single for the past, like 30-something years. Now all I need is the even rarer New Zealand of Forest on green vinyl. Maybe if I ever travel there. Number 3 is Joy Division Atmosphere 12-inch. Another lucky find at Voxbox Music in Edinburgh. What makes this 1980 single so special is that this is the Tranco pressing, What's that, you ask? Well, let me show you. There's the back. Here's the vinyl. Seems to be a black disc, but you shine a light behind what appears to be a black disc and voila. Gorgeous, deep red. I have the coveted Unknown Pleasures Tranco pressing, so very happy to add this beauty to the roster alongside it. Number 2, after a few days in Oslo, I had some time to kill, so I went back to Rock and Rolls to see if anything new had come in. Well, something sure did, or it was there all along and I just hadn't noticed it. I went back to their synth section and staring me in the face was Depeche Mode, Songs of Faith and Devotion Live. Now, this is practically mint condition, so I had my suspicions. I knew that this had recently had an unofficial repress, so I took it to the front and asked if I could examine it and spent a good 20 minutes checking out all of the run-out grooves to make sure it was the 1993 original, and it is. Just got a little seam split up here, but other than that, the sleeve is perfect. The inner sleeve and the vinyl. Finally mine. So I'm sure you're waiting with bated breath for what's number 1. Well, I had read about this store in Edinburgh called Backbeat Records as being so jam-packed that the owner, Dougie McShane, wouldn't let you inside anymore. Rather, he'll ask you what you're looking for and bring you a crate to dig through on the sidewalk. So I was prepared for that, and when he asked me what I was after, I told him post-punk, new wave, electronic. To which he kind of groaned and said, "Oh, I don't have much of that right now." And so I fired back, Depeche Mode, The Cure, 80s, Underworld, and he replied, "Nah, some guy came by a couple weeks ago and cleared out all my Depeche Mode." So, not to leave empty-handed, I started in with local stuff, Simple Minds, Mogwai, Primal Scream, Beta Band, and he was like, "Oh, no, I don't think so. Oh, except I do recall I may have this Cure 12-inch promo that was only for sale at gigs. Now, if I could only just find it." I knew what record he was talking about, but I didn't believe it. I thought he must have something else, so as he kept digging around, I just stood outside and waited and asked, "Does it have a red cover?" And he said, "It does." Well, eventually he emerged with this. The Cure 100 Years The Hanging Garden promo. I can't even tell you how much of a Cure Holy Grail this is, and the value that this goes for on Discogs compared to the price that I got it for in this hoarder's nightmare of a shop. Yes, the sleeve is worn, the record's a little dusty, but I mean, I am not going to complain, having not expected to encounter this ever in my life. Later, when I told the owner at VoxBox about scoring this at Backbeat and how lucky I thought I was, he told me that he used to own a signed copy of this, but sold it years ago. No matter what records you own and how great you think your collection is, there's always somebody who's going to trump that. Little dusty, but mine. So that's 15 awesome finds I scored in Europe this July, as well as a smattering of other cool records. Now, there were more terrific ones I found from artists such as Coil, Kraftwerk, Gene Loves Jezebel, Gary Newman, Andrew Weatherall, Monaco, etc. But these were the most exciting of the batch that I just had to share with you guys. For the others, I don't know. If you follow the Instagram, I'll probably throw most of those up there eventually. Hopefully you found this vinyl show and tell interesting as a bit of a detour from my regular programming. And yes, I know I could buy most of this stuff off Discogs anytime, but besides saving a few bucks on shipping or rescuing a gem like a red Depeche Mode 7-inch from a metal shop, to me, record shopping is an integral part of being immersed in the local culture of new places, and hearing incredible stories while talking to the other patrons or the owners of those shops is part of the experience. Have you been to any of the shops I visited? What are your favorite vinyl shops you've discovered around the world, and what cities are your favorites for record shopping? Let me know below. Thanks for watching. You can see more of my vinyl haul videos right here. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you guys in the next one.